Remember economic growth? We used to talk about it all the time before the pandemic, and we even had a segment on it called Our Colorado. Well, with the events of the last 3 months, it is safe to say our Colorado is going through a rough patch. Today, the U.S., in fact, was officially declared to be in recession, and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of Coloradans remain on unemployment. Now, some businesses have even closed for good, many more clinging to life. And development? Well, development is so complicated right now, it deserves a 360. Here's Russell Haythorne.
Few could argue that before coronavirus hit, Colorado and Metro Denver were booming.
#1 economy in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report.
And while there's still a lot of promise, COVID-19 has also exposed some serious vulnerabilities in our economy.
Underneath that surface, people are struggling to make ends meet day to day.
If it was a struggle for some Coloradans to find housing before the pandemic, now it's nearly impossible.
The market has skyrocketed continually so that poor people cannot afford housing.
Even people who have great jobs.
So let's press pause on the building boom, the road construction, and airport expansion for a minute and take a 360 spin around reprioritizing in a post-COVID world, starting with housing for low-income wage earners and the homeless.
It's not adequate to meet the need whatsoever.
Advocate Therese Howard says COVID-19 has further exposed an ugly truth. The average one-bedroom rents for $1,400 a month in Metro Denver, pricing thousands out of a home.
The mayor and the governor are getting an F, I would say.
She says there must be a system where the city and state build housing for those who can least afford it. She uses Vienna, Austria as an example.
There's social housing there that is built by the government. It's kept in high quality, and it's according to your income, so you do pay rent. We need housing people can afford according to their income.
Then there are those massive city and state funded construction projects we see every day.
In Denver in particular, we've got 4 or 5 really expensive, really massive infrastructure projects that are either underway or planned.
Community development expert and former mayoral candidate Jamie Gillis says it might be time to scale back massive projects like the $200 million makeover of the 16th Street Mall, the redevelopment of the National Western Complex, and even the expansion of the Colorado Convention Center.
When we don't know the future of conventions.
But Metro Denver Chamber President and CEO Kelly Bruff says those projects are already green-lighted, and they themselves bring jobs.
The challenge is those are jobs often for people who desperately need them today. Most of those resources can't be used for something else, right? They're dedicated dollars that you might be got from the federal government.
A sentiment echoed by Denver Mayor Michael Hancock.
If you take the 16th Street Mall and the Convention Center, these are dollars that are already committed based off of the public vote. The tourism tax supports those efforts. Those dollars are earmarked by law.
The mayor says accelerating infrastructure improvements is what brought Denver out of the 2008 recession.
We'll get on the other side of this thing. The last thing you want to do is to shut down all your possibilities for an accelerated return.
The exception would be the National Western, which is a general fund project. The mayor says it's wise to delay at least parts of that project for now. At DIA, traffic is down an astonishing 95%, yet the Great Hall project and its reconfiguration of security in the main terminal continues.
Those funds have already been earmarked for this project to go forward.
DIA spokeswoman Stacy Stegman says the same goes for gate expansion in all 3 concourses, 39 new gates total.
In fact, we have commitments from airlines to lease those gates despite COVID.
There are bright spots. Both the Great Hall project at the airport and CDOT's Central 70 project could zoom ahead of schedule with less traffic on the roads and in the air.
I think that's a positive.
Bruff says the goal coming out of the lockdown should be putting people back to work in restaurants, hotels, and at the airport, no matter the cost, no matter the job.
That we help get those workers who've lost their jobs back into the workforce so their families don't suffer greater economic consequences.
Experts agree city and state leaders must think outside the box because this crisis is unlike 9/11 or the 2008 housing collapse or anything for that matter we've experienced in modern history.
The strong economy in Denver has helped us an awful lot.
I think this next 30 days is just critical that we don't increase the spread of the virus,
and we can continue our climb out of this situation economically.
We know people are going to return to travel. When exactly, we're not sure, but they will.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.